The date is April 5th, 2024. A mixtape titled Might Delete Later has just hit DSPs. Dreamville fans are buzzing. They're going on their respective DSPs to listen to their favorite musician, Jermaine. And as they listen, they realize there's a specific song that seems to have its sights set on the one and only Kendrick Lamar. And that track is titled The 7-Minute Drill. Now, April 5th, 2024, it's 8 p.m. The mixtape is being dissected. A lot of fans are sending their opinions, their theories, and talking about how this is the moment that Jermaine overtakes the top spot as far as the best rapper in the modern generation. April 6th, 2024, only a day after, fans are still speculating on when the follow-up or the response diss track will come from either Jermaine or Kendrick, as now we have officially entered into the realm of a J. Cole and Kendrick battle. April 7th, 2024, there's this thing called Dreamville Festival, where Jermaine brings all of his disciples to an event, and he performs some of his biggest fan favorite hits, right? But instead, this man Jermaine got on stage, and in less than 48 hours after releasing a diss track, inevitably sparking the J. Cole and Kendrick beef, he gets on stage and says this.
Moving incorrectly, and I pray that God align me back up on my purpose and on my path. You know what I mean? I pray that my nigga really didn't feel no way, and if he did, my nigga, I got my chin out. Take your best shot, I'm gonna take that shit on the chin, boy. Do what you do. You know what I mean? Like,
do what you do. No, did he? I mean, he said do what you do like he had baby oil on deck.
And I pray that, I pray that y'all are like, forgive a nigga for like the misstep, and then I can get back to my true path, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. The past 2 days felt terrible. Like, it let me know how good I've been sleeping for the past 10 years.
Not 10 years.
So all of that to say, man, I wanna now perform the song. It's a reminder to me of getting back on the right path and getting in tune with God. And the name of the song is called Love Yours.
So for everybody who's wondering why we put Jermaine in Hip Hop Timeout, that is exactly why. In less than 48 hours, you would have thought it was the first 48, the way he was trying to prevent or solve a murder mystery, right? But in the ultimate plot twist of plot twists in novel history, the body that he was trying to prevent was himself, because Kendrick was definitely going to catch a body off of that weak 7-minute drill diss track. That wasn't even 7 minutes, mind you. But you know what is 7 minutes? The track actually is not even 7 minutes. It's 5 minutes and 16 seconds. So why did I recap the whole reason we put Jermaine in Hip Hop Timeout? Because he has came once again in the aftermath of the Drake and Kendrick battle that was undoubtedly the best hip hop battle we've ever received in the past 10 to 20 years, and maybe ever, as far as hip hop history. It's definitely up there as far as the commercial wise, and the content wise and culture wise. Everything encapsulated hip hop in a way that puts Drake versus Kendrick in one of the best hip hop beef discussions. So when it comes to Jermaine bowing out after putting out a diss track towards Kendrick, it was very upsetting, because he's the one that jumped out the window and put out 7-minute drill. And then in less than 48 hours, he got on stage at his Dreamville Festival in front of all his fans and gave a heartfelt apology, basically saying, y'all love Kendrick. Guess what? I love Kendrick too. Now, there was nothing wrong with the statement of I love Kendrick if he didn't put out a whole entire diss track towards him, right? Because if Kendrick would have just completely focused on Drake and J. Cole just stayed out of it without releasing 7-minute drill, nobody would have got upset at him, because then we just understand that Jermaine is just not about that life. It's the way that he jumped out that made everybody say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't even be in the top 3 at all. Which brings me up to date as far as October 10th, 2024. Actually, October 9th is when this actually came out. But J. Cole put out a new track titled Port Antonio, where he almost got out of Hip Hop Timeout. I'm not going to lie to you, because this track is phenomenal. But when he said they trying to start another war, Drake, you'll always be. This is a PG podcast, so I'm just gonna replace the cuss words basically. They try to start another war. Drake, you'll always be, let's just say, my homie, right? I ain't ashamed to say you did a lot for me. Forget all the narratives. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Maybe Jermaine deserves to be let out of hip hop timeout. And then he followed up those sentiments with tapping back. What you mean tapping back? Tapping back into your magic pen is what's imperative. My brother, Drake just gave us some of the best hip hop material in the past 20 to 30 years. I don't care what y'all say. From both sides, Kendrick and Drake, they gave us some timeless material as far as Family Matters, as far as Euphoria, as far as Not Like Us. And a lot of people love to discredit what Drake did as far as the Tupac blackface, like the digital blackface, right? But what they don't bring up is when Drake put out the Buried Alive interlude, I believe is what it was. Yeah. So the Buried Alive interlude part 2 is a lot of people just forgetting this track ever exists because it came right after Family Matters, which made Family Matters even more impactful, which is why I think Kendrick just completely just put a stop to it when he put out Meet the Grams, which is one of the worst tracks in the entire beef because he made up a whole fictional character like he was Stan Lee, right? Talking about the daughter. I mean, to this point, everybody's just acting like, oh, there is a daughter. We just don't want to name her, right? Like, okay. Like, if there was a daughter, pretty sure somebody would. Like, y'all see this whole Diddy situation? If you build up enough credibility, somebody gonna jump out the window and be like, hey, he's talking about me. I'm the daughter. Why nobody did that? Why the mother didn't do that? The dad, the parent, whatever the parental figure is for the daughter. But anyways, so Kendrick stepped on that by putting out Meet the Grams, which, you know, aged the worst out of the entire battle. It's probably Meet the Grams and Taylor Made Freestyle that aged horribly as far as the overall totality of the beef between Drake and Kendrick. So getting back to Jermaine, because everybody seems to be acting like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is basically Jermaine saying that he doesn't want beef with Drake. That's all it is. If y'all haven't been noticing, Drake has been unfollowing people on IG and has been making front page news. And people are telling me that Drake has fell off, right? So Drake has been unfollowing people and in waves, mind you. And I guess because of the lack of communication between Drake and J. Cole, simply for the fact that he bowed out of the battle and made it seem like Kendrick took out him and Drake, right? So Drake was put behind the 8 ball because Kendrick already has great momentum. It's like the number 1 seed getting ups. Jermaine's not the number 1 seed, but for this hypothetical, you have to stay with me. It's like the number 1 seed getting knocked off by the number 2 seed in the Western Conference Finals, and now they're heading to the finals. Like, they got all the momentum in the world, and everybody looks at them as like the big dog. So now, whenever you're in such a subjective space that is music, you are already being looked at as like putting out the gospel, right? You are basically hip hop Jesus when it comes to putting out music, because now it seems like everybody doesn't want smoke with you, which is why the whole nickname given to Kendrick, Boogeyman, has stuck and will stick for the foreseeable future. So anyways, after that, you know, Kendrick just completely eviscerated Drake, but Drake did fight back, which is something that Cole never did. Well, actually he tried and then apologized, which is why he will continue to be in timeout. Yeah. So as far as the track Port Antonio, my favorite part of it was when he was talking about, okay, yeah, they wanted blood. Oh, hold on. Let me just pull this up for y'all to see. Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. But okay, so I lost my place because I made it full screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. They wanted blood. They wanted clicks to make their pockets grow. They see this fire in my pen and they think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog. I would have lost the bro. I would have gained the foe. And all for what? Just to attain some more? Poetry at its finest. I ain't gonna lie. The only problem with that is when you start the fact check. My brother, the best thing you had to come at Kendrick with is that his music was similar to The Simpsons in that he fell off. A lot more would have happened to you than just have lost the battle. I mean, you see how Kendrick put Drake in a PDF file lane? What Kendrick would have done to you, I mean, let's just say behind the scenes, it wasn't going to be pretty. And there's a reason why Jermaine came out to apologize for Kendrick. Because who would have thought that Kendrick, the person who stays out of the way, would have went to the depths of hell to talk about his opponents in such a way that makes them seem like just a straight up criminal, like deserving jail time. Like that's the way that he has put Drake as far as the perspective of the public. So anyways, Jermaine talks about how he wouldn't have lost the battle. He would have lost the dog, which I wish he would have just changed. I would have lost the battle and kept I would have lost the dog, because that would have been the best part. But this is my favorite lines out of the track, because he kept going by saying props from strangers that don't got a clue what I've been aiming for. Since the age of 14, Jermaine is no king. If that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bot people just to sway the whole thing. Now, this is where we get upset at Jermaine. This man takes shots at Kendrick in a way that's very subliminal but obvious to people who follow hip hop. Jermaine has talked about streaming bots before. I forget what track it was, but I remember he's talking about people just how many faking their streams, getting their place from machines. I think it was a lot or something like that. The track with 21, I believe. You see how Jermaine fans, you know what I mean? They probably don't even know that bar. Not just playing. Let me chill. All right, so yeah, that was something I remember as far as him talking about bots. I think that's the only other time he ever talked about bots. So people are trying to connect that, right? People are trying to say, oh, he's just talking about the industry. He's not taking yet another shot at Kendrick, right? But what they fail to realize is that the following lyrics is literally, if that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bots just to sway the whole thing, on social media competing for your favorable memes to be considered best of live and rest, the weight of both things. Okay, I think that is completely wrong. Who in the world is transcribing at Genius? Because that is not what he said. I want to play it, but if it ends up on DSPs, oh, that's a whole nother discussion. We're gonna get to that in a second. Yeah, he released this through YouTube, by the way, which we're gonna get to that. But I don't know if this is the right lyrics. I ain't gonna lie to you. Basically, this man follows it up by saying, on social media, competing for your favorable memes. I don't know why it says memes. To be considered best and the weight of both things. I understand the thirst of being first. Who in the world is trying to be first in the rap industry through bots and favorable memes from the public through a battle? Like, number one only has one person to put in it, right? And who have we put that person as far as giving him the crown of the modern generation, the best rapper, right? That's Kendrick. So if you're saying somebody's using algorithm bots to sway social medias for your favorable memes, and then you follow that up with, I understand the thirst of being first, who do you think he's talking about? You think he's talking about A$AP Rocky? You think he's talking about Wale, Big Sean, who just, let me chill. That's one of my favorite rappers. But there's only one person who's basically considered in first place right now based on social media perception. Anyways, let's keep going. So with that being said, of course, he kept going saying, now some would discredit me, try to wipe away my pedigree, but please find a person that's rapping this incredibly. Boy, if they ain't bars, I don't know what is. So the only thing with that is that, let me see if I can find it. He said something about being free. That was where I had to, okay, they stripped me of my spot. Here it is, it's right here. They stripped me of my spot, and now I'm finally free. They say I'm picking sides, but don't you lie on me. And then he gets to cop and please for Drake, right? So the only thing I have to say about this is that I have an episode coming out titled, Is There a New Big Three in Hip Hop? Because I don't know if you know, but Future literally just became the first rapper ever, like in history, to have 3 #1 albums in the span of 6 months. And before you say, oh, he had no competition or things of that like that, right? Sabrina Carpenter is running the game right now when it comes to music consumption. Future's mixtape Pluto overtook Short and Sweet for the #1 spot, right? So when he outsold Sabrina Carpenter to have his third #1 after putting out his third album in the span of 6 months, I'm like, let's have a real discussion about the top 3 in hip hop, because I don't know any other rapper that could do that in the span of 6 months. Besides Drake, besides a Kendrick. I mean, even Nicki, it may be looking a little shaky as far as having 3 #1 albums in the span of 6 months. Travis Scott's a whole different scenario, but those are all people I would put above Jermaine, right? That's why I'd never like consider Jermaine in the big 3. But yeah, Future, I think, should be put into that top 3 for the simple fact that he is putting up some unequivocally, he is putting up numbers that has never been done before in the hip hop genre. So when it comes to that fact, as far as Future just overtaking rap analytically in 2024, you still have to realize that touring wise is probably why we don't put Future in that big 3, because who in the world is going to a Future concert when it comes to a stadium or an arena, right? There's a reason why Nicki not too long ago tried to bring Future on her tour, and Future agreed, because Nicki has a bigger pool when it comes to her fan base coming out to watch her perform. So on one hand, Future is putting up these numbers that you can't argue at all as far as it being impressive. But then on the other hand, is he able to put the phrase butts and seats like a Nicki, like a Drake, like a Travis Scott, like a Kendrick? Definitely not. So that's the only reason why I think he's left out of the top 3, because culture-wise, he has it. Streaming-wise, he obviously has it. But as far as in-person performance and bringing people out, that is the area where, when it comes to the big 3, obviously Future brings people out. Like, come on now. But when it comes to the big 3 of hip-hop, you probably want to encaptivate all of that. So that could be the only thing that keeps him away from it. I mean, there's a reason why there's an OVO Fest. There's a reason why there's a Dreamville Festival. Like, these people bring out so many fans of them that they can have their own festival. Like, forget going to an arena. Let's just book our own venue and throw our own concert, right? I don't know if Future's at that level yet when it comes to in-person butts and seats as far as watching you perform. And I think that's a testament to the way that Future performs, right? If you're out there playing karaoke like you're Kanye West, but you're not Kanye West, then people are not going to be enticed to go to a bigger show, because they know the production value is going to be at an all-time low. And that is why Future has been left out of the big 3, in my opinion, because everything else just makes it seem like he should be in the big 3. But anyways, back to Jermaine, right? So when he says, they stripped me of my spot and now I'm finally free. Well, I'm glad that you agree with us that you never deserve to be in the top 3. So that's great. You know, we agree. You know what I'm saying? You say you're not in the top 3. I say you're not in the top 3. So now, you know, there's really nobody else. Like, who's going to come out of the woodworks to vouch for Jermaine after what he just pulled? Like, nah, you know what? I think Jermaine does deserve the big 3 spot. Like, nah. Especially following after that, he was copping pleas with Drake, talking about how, you know, you'll always be my homie. Like, all right, bro. But anyways, yeah, so overall, I'm not going to spend too much time on this track. I did want to get into one of the biggest pivotal parts, is that J. Cole also pulled 7-minute drill track off of streaming platforms right after the concert, as far as Dreamville Festival, right? So whenever we're talking about this apology, just know it was followed up by other things that ultimately piled on to the point where it's like, okay, my brother, you are in hip-hop timeout for the foreseeable future. So with that, the way that Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake are releasing music through social medias first is creating a certain battle with higher ups that they do not want. Let's just say that. Kendrick, I think, got approved for his track on Instagram. And obviously I don't have no basis to, I have no way to confirm this, but as far as Kendrick putting out his what was it, the Black Air Force, the all Black Air Forces, that track that everybody forgot about after it came out. But anyways, that track, I think he got an okay to put that out for the simple fact that Jay-Z's been under fire and still is under fire, and justifiably so, because he's been, you know, playing some certain industry games when it comes to Drake not letting Lil Wayne when it comes to Drake and Jay-Z not letting Lil Wayne perform in New Orleans. So why do I say that? It's because putting out music on social medias first means you are exclusively releasing your music through an Instagram, through a Twitter, a YouTube, when your contract, specifically J. Cole, is, well, I know for Kendrick it's under UMG. Let me look up. So when your contract is under, when's the last time this man put out a track? This man has really been in hip hop timeout. I mean, Blow for Blow doesn't count. That's with T Grizzly. He hasn't put out a track since I forgot he put out Grippy. Oh my lord, this man's trash. All right, anyways, Yeah, man, I can't find it. I don't know what he's under. Let me just go to his last album. Actually, let's go to Might Delete Later. Okay, so Interscope Records, which I believe is under UMG. So, anyways, you're under Universal Music Group, which is what most of the popular rappers go to because it's ran by Lucian Grange, the most powerful man in the music industry. But you're putting out music exclusively to YouTube, Instagram when you have a whole entire contract with Interscope Records, right? So, in that fact, a lot of major labels are upset, and I know for a fact that Drake and Universal Music Group are beefing simply for the fact 100 gigs is something that should never exist for free on an Instagram, quote unquote, Finsta. So they're going through their back and forths. That's why you see songs getting put up, taken off, as far as Blue, Green, Red, as far as Super Soak, as far as all these other tracks getting pulled off when Drake tries to, because ultimately, right, you have to have sample clearances. And so if you're out here putting out music through your Finsta, and then Universal Music Group contacts you like, hey, this is exclusively under or licensed under us, and you're putting it out on a free platform that we can't monetize from. So now we are going to put that song out on platforms that we can monetize. They put it out on platforms they can monetize, and then they realize that the samples haven't been cleared and they can't get cleared to where they get taken down. So now it's a very interesting game between Drake and Universal Music Group, because one of your biggest breadwinners, because keep in mind, Universal Music Group has like 59% of the overall music market share as far as October, right? So, as far as like 2024 up to date in October. So with that being said, Taylor Swift, Post Malone, Sabrina Carpenter, all those others could make up for Drake leaving. But Drake is still under contract. So with that being said, the overall battle between Universal Music Group and Drake is simply simply put out music on platforms we can monetize, right? Why is Drake doing the 100 gigs, putting music out on free platforms like it's back in the day with Spinrilla and SoundCloud and things of that nature? Because it's exactly that. He wants to have that mixtape type of feel where he could just throw out music and fans just tell him what is hot and what is not. But only problem with that is you signed a contract, my brother. It's like if LeBron James went and started playing for some random professional team in LA, was seeing him hoop at like the random fitness center and everybody showing up to watch him hoop, right? For some random professional team. They would be upset. They'd be like, you know what? You have a contract under us and you're out here giving out free performances that we can't monetize off of. So hopefully that clears it up for why these releases on social medias is a little tricky. And I don't think these rappers who are unequivocally pawns in a game of music, because Lucian Grange, Elliot Grange, those are the real puppet masters when it comes to signing musicians and making them pop in the global grand scale of things, right? So if you're going to battle a higher up, I just hope that you come with a better marketing strategy for when they inevitably let you go. So to bring this full circle, Jermaine going on YouTube to put out this track, I think is just letting fans know that he understands why they're upset, but he just had to give their side. And then after giving his side, guess what? You're still in hip hop timeout. All that for what? So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about J. Cole's new track, Port Antonio? And also, in the aftermath of Drake and Kendrick beef, do you look at J. Cole any different?